Hi, this is Cora Stack again, Dr. Stack. I just wanted to talk there about continue just discussing the issues there around the IV nutrient treatment that's being offered that's intravenous nutrient therapies, and different, I suppose, types of nutrients for the different types of outcomes, like boosting energy, dealing with stress, fatigue, all of those sort of things. I can imagine that there's an 85%, 90% overlap between, the particular constituents of the various nutrients, in those things. I could imagine a lot of them would hit all of these things. They're talking about anxiety, and, that dips in mood, and all of those things can be helped with, when they seem to saying that this treatment avoids interference by the digestive tract, which can often minimize or reduce significantly the efficacy of tablets that we all buy in huge numbers from the pharmacies, thinking they're going to solve all our problems, or at least reduce them. So this, I think we need more. We need more research about this. We need to, more experts to tell us what, the truth about this. Is this IV treatment better than all the tablets we're all buying, making fortunes for pharmaceutical companies, or is this a better treatment, or is it more effective? Because if it is, why isn't it available to us? And could there be an issue with pharmaceutical industries that are making these tablets not wanting this therapy? I'm just putting it out there. I don't know is the answer, but certainly Turkey are leading, or were leading in this area, and in other areas as well. But they usually get the bad news, not the good news. But my understanding is their current, their medical facilities are top class, absolutely excellent. So in some areas, and particularly this one. So Brendan Bouchard has been, is excellent on fatigue, and he's more or less saying fatigue is a major problem. And I see it as well, and I've been advocating about burnout for years, and I can see it now in students, and I'm looking at the research from America and around Europe, and how what is very concerning is they're saying that younger and younger people are reporting serious fatigue, and of course this is related to sleep deprivation and other mental health issues, and it's all in a cycle really, and we're not doing anything to recognise or to accept that we are actually overworking our students. There's excessive mental overload on people, and it's the mental overload. And he says one of the a lot of people would say this, the constant scrolling on your media, social media, too much interaction with social media, for hours and hours scrolling, as he puts it, and always going like that, and everybody does that. But he says that, well, we could talk about listening to podcasts, and all of this is overloading the brain, but I would say we're also overloading the brain as educators, expecting our students to take in too much knowledge. So we're giving them too much knowledge, and they're exhausted. They're exhausted coming into work, a lot of them, to college a lot of the time, because of the travelling and all of that. And then we exhaust them more with continuous, making them go to lectures. And he is saying, Brendan Bouchard is saying that this sort of lifestyle is giving no time for the mind to rest. And the mind to rest needs thinking time. So thinking time is time that a person would have, say, in a library for a half an hour, or 2 hours or 3 hours a day. And how many people have that time, even in jobs? How many time have they got thinking time? And that gives them time to replenish and to reinvigorate and to get their minds less fatigued. And we are not facing up to this, because we are putting huge pressure on our students. Even in secondary school, it's non-stop overflooding them with information. And we're even hearing an excellent report that was mentioned by a brilliant Irish mathematician called Brendan Gilday, and he was saying that the cognitive abilities of people over 30 to even engage in percentages was declining in most countries around the world, bar Sweden. Now, I'll put it out there, he said he didn't know why this was the case, but I'll put it out there that Sweden have a 4-day week. So they have a day to think. So they're actually less flooded with information because they have as far as I understand, they have a 4-day week. And one of our Irish groups, I think it was the People Before Profit were saying we need a 4-day week, and I would agree with this. I would agree that if we had a 4-day week, we would have less of this overload of mental, information to the mind, and less fatigue and more efficacy and better outcomes for all. And this is the reason, because we're overloading people with too much information, and we're doing it at the expense of the health of the people that we're trying to, and it's all about profit at the end of the day. Well, you could say it is. And again, I'm calling it sociopathy. This is my big word, sociopathy. We're having it in education. If we're doing this, and I'm not mentioning any particular, it's all over the world, so it's not particular to Ireland. So certainly I think Brendan Bouchard has a very good point here, and also that we need a variety of strategies to deal with this chronic fatigue, which is making people sad. You hear so many people saying they're sad because they're fatigued. They're watching the news, and they're watching all the fatigue in the news. They're watching all the violence, and everyone is fatigued. And if you are fatigued, you will be sad. And if you're just listening to all of this stuff and you're taking in too much information, and you can see that the stress on so many people because they're all fatigued, because they've no time to think, because they're just being bombarded with demand for higher productivity. In the end of the day, what you're getting is very poorer and poorer mental health outcomes, and this is certainly not good for society. So there's a couple of things there. There's just looking at as educators, we should be looking at how much time students have in the day to think. Go to the library to think out of the 8 hours that we have them, or 6 hours. We should be at least giving them 3 hours, or 4 hours, 3 hours maybe, to go to the library or to think. And stop this non-stop bombardment. Also, we should not be giving them so many assessments. That's killing the students, the non-stop assessments. We should desemesterize first year, second year, so that they have time to think and absorb the complexity of some of the information they're doing. So there's piles of things we can do. Why isn't anybody doing it? Because do they care about the mental health, or are they just more interested in money above the mental health of students and stakeholders, etc., etc.? And these are all questions we need to ask ourselves. And I'm not talking about the Irish situation. I'm looking at what's going on in Europe, what's going on in America, the UK, and elsewhere. It's putting profit before people and mental health, and this it has to stop. And I'm calling it out here, but I'm only a small person here on this channel. But I see it, and I've investigated it, I've studied it, I've read the papers, I see the research. So I'm not talking from just opinion. I've read all the research, and over again, it's saying that what we are doing is we're causing our younger people, we're actually putting them on the road to dementia. And what is the cost of that, in their 60s and in their 70s? What is the cost of that to them? So we need to be much more careful with the amount of with the way we organise our work for people. We organise our student work, what they have to do, and all of these people need a thing called thinking time, and they need time to relax and rest, proper sleep, and proper diet. All of these things need to be factored in, and proper nutrition. All of these things need to be factored in. And I strongly believe that there isn't enough focus on this. There's not enough focus on the chronic fatigue that the world, and the Western world in particular, are facing, because we are so obsessed with profit, and we don't look at the person. The person means nothing. It's just a number, rather than a person that has is exhausted, and there's so much exhaustion, as Brendan Bouchard rightly said. And his solution is thinking time. And how much thinking time do we give our students? How much thinking time do we give our workers? We have them on all the time, and we need to have a better rebalance of actual work versus thinking time, because the thinking time is very important for the work and the creativity and all the other things that we would like. So I'm just raising a couple of questions here about this, because I feel, it's a big picture here and we're only getting small elements of the picture. We need to look at the big picture, that what we are doing to our students and to our working population is we are not giving them enough thinking time to be creative, to be innovative, to be novel, and to get that sort of uplift from creativity, or from just relaxing their mind, so that they're not chronically fatigued and all of the other things, that the mental health issues that go along with chronic fatigue. So I've been advocating about this for many years, but I'm trying to look at the big picture, looking at the research, and I would be very concerned that governments are refusing to face up to this chronic fatigue that we're experiencing, and the impact, particularly for generations of people who are unaware of the long-term impacts of fatigue on their mental health and their brain health and their cognition, and how dangerous it is. I mean, who wants at 20 to realise that without help of this nature they're on the road to dementia? Nobody wants that for anybody. And why are governments not dealing with this? And I'm not talking about any particular government. I mean, they need to see the big picture and put brain health before profit.